Hi, and welcome to another impromptu little one of these, whatever they are. Hi to anybody that's seen me before. This could go very well or not, depending, because today I'm going to actually be making mugwort bundles. Now, I've done these before in the past, I've just never done it where I've been recorded. So we'll see how this goes, because my crafting skills leave a lot to be desired. Anyway, so why am I on here? Basically because it's coming towards the end of July in the UK, and we have lots and lots of mugwort growing everywhere. Don't know if you can see this. And I love mugwort. I love mugwort because at this time of the year, so when it first comes up, it's very, very green. So you can see that on the top of the leaves. But as it gets a little bit older, it starts to get this silvery colour where the leaves change and they become more upright. And you get this waving silvery foliage as you're driving along. That's just me, obviously, but you know, I just love it. So it's a good time of year because it's just coming into flowering season, or yeah, some of these are in flower, some of these are just going over, and they are. So why collect mugwort? Why go out and pick some? Because it's very, very useful to have in your magical herbal store cupboard. If you can find some far enough away from roads and animals, dogs specifically, because they pee on them, then obviously you can dry it and use it for tea. Mugwort tea tastes very similar to me to some sort of a mixture between chamomile and nettle, with maybe a little bit of fresh mown grass thrown in. It's quite a sweetish, whereas chamomile to me is very dry, if that's the right word to use. Mugwort tea has got a sweetness to it. I would still add a little drop of honey, but it's definitely a smoother flavour to it than just chamomile or just nettle, in my opinion. This is only my opinion. But other than drying it for use in tea, if you can find some, as I say, that's off the beaten track and hasn't been covered in fumes and what have you from cars, it's very, very handy to have in your store cupboard because it's got so many magical properties. I mean, you've got strength, you've got psychic ability, you've got protection, you've got prophetic dreams, healing, astral travel. It's a very feminine plant, very, very feminine, very watery. I saw in quite a few places that it's linked to earth, which I would agree with, but I think it's both. I think it's earth and water for me. It's very cleansing, which is why I'm coming to this. It's also useful in divination. If you use it in incense, if you drink, so a cup of mugwort tea is fine. I wouldn't say have more than 1 or 2 a day. It does have slight hallucinogenic properties to it. So if you were to drink it and have it as an incense, so you had the smoke in the air, you might find that you get a little bit drowsy. So it is very useful if you have sleep problems to have a cup of mugwort tea before you go to bed. One, it'll give you nice dreams, hopefully, but it'll also help you to sleep because it has got that slight little hallucinatory effect to it. But yeah, too much of it can really be quite disturbing is the best way. I'm lucky enough I've never been there, but I have seen it happen to one of my friends where they were in an enclosed space. They were offered the tea, there was incense going, and there was also a pipe sent round so that they could try this. And by the end of the session, she had to go and lie down for the rest of the day. It was interesting, to say the least. So yeah, don't have too much of it is what I'm saying. But it is very, very good. And that's about all I'm going to actually say on the subject of mugwort, other than there are some really interesting names that it has. So its Latin name is Artemisia vulgaris. So it is very linked to Artemis and Venus and the moon and all those sorts of things. The folklore name that I particularly like is Cronewort, probably because I'm getting into that sort of like maybe era, not in my brain but in my body. But you know, I just that just tickles me that it's also known as Cronewort. It's just me. So, as I said, that's going to be it. There is going to be a very short blog to go with this. I'm saying short because it's actually got a link to a longer blog that was actually done a few years back that you can find. But I'll put the link to that. It's still on the Kitchen Witch blogs. So I'll put the link to that in my blog so that you can see it. But we will attempt to go over to this so you can actually see my little pile of mugwort. And I managed to grab some smaller and some larger pieces. So I'm just going to separate them off so you can see. So the larger ones have got quite hard woody stems. So these ones I'm actually probably going to dry as they are. I hang them upside down in the garage or in the airing cupboard, just tie them here and dry them. And then once they're dry, I will take just telling you, the smell of these is just, it is actually quite intoxicating. So quite nice. Anyway, and then I will take the leaves and the little flower buds that you can see here off and store them in my herb cupboard. These ones are younger, softer stems. And because I've literally only picked these just a little while ago, I'm hoping are going to be soft enough that I can actually make... Oh, there's a ladybug. Oh, ladybug, sorry. Did I take you indoors? I do apologise. Excuse me while I just rescue a ladybug. Oh, come on. You've got to go. You can't stay in here. Come on, out you come. Yes, poor ladybug. I didn't realise she was still there. Oh, he. Right, so let's just sort these out. So I'm trying to get them so that the stem, bottom stem, cut stem, is that the one? Oh, it's quite stiff. So I'm just testing just to see how bendable they are. Now this is where it gets interesting because I'm going to very, very slowly bend that way, and then I'm going to bend that way. And as you can see, that's actually made quite an okay bundle. You can make them a bit smaller, a bit bigger, depending on what you want. Now, for the string, because the idea of these is that you can use them for cleansing around the house, for protection, just cleansing out. It's a good time to do them at this time of the year so that you've got it ready. I find that one actually usually sorts me out for the autumn cleansing and spring cleansing, because they once they're dry, they burn really nice and slowly. The one thing I will say is that as you are walking around, make sure that you have a plate or something underneath, because otherwise lots drops off and can burn holes in your flooring or your furniture. So yeah, just be aware when you're going around with it smoking, carry a plate underneath. So what I tend to do is I get a nice long string. I'm using green jute because it's biodegradable and it burns without giving off any nasty toxic substances. You can also get this in red, which would be the other colour to use, or you can use red cotton twine, but make sure it is cotton and not some hybrid type thing. So you're going to leave a long loose string, do a slip knot and make it quite a decent size slip knot, because the idea is to actually slide the slip knot over your bundle your folded up bundle. Hope you can see this. And make sure you've got all your bits and pieces inside, and then pull it tight, as tight as you can, like that. And now you wrap everything up as much as you possibly can. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy, which is very handy for me, because as those of you that know me know, my crafting skills are not brilliant. So this is one of those things where you don't have to be absolutely spot on, as long as you get it all in. Come back to the middle where your loose long thread is. Grab scissors, and this is where I find out that I've left my scissors over the other side. Yep, there they are. I will get organised for these one day. And tie a knot. Now, at this stage, what I tend to do is tie a bow, because even though I've done that quite tight, which you'll see in a minute when I hold it up. So I have done this actually quite tightly, I think. Not bad. A little bit loose leaf there, but that's fine. It doesn't really make an awful lot of difference to its burning. As this dries in the airing cupboard, it will shrink a little bit, and that's why I tie a bow, because it means that once it's dry, I can actually undo the bow and just tighten up. That's the other reason why I leave nice long bits of thread. So if I need to carry on going round once it's dry, I can do that. But that is making a mugwort. Let's put that there. You go, just so you can see it. Making a mugwort bundle, which, you know, for people in this country is easy, straightforward. If you've got sage in your garden, obviously you can add a little bit of sage in, or if you've got enough sage, then you can just make homegrown sage. But to save using stuff from the other side of the world, use the stuff that we've got in our country that we've used for centuries. The other thing you could incorporate into this, if you wanted to and you had it, a few little stems of lavender, because that's doing reasonably well. I've harvested one lot, and there's another 2 pots that are just coming up to being harvestable. So I could have taken a couple of those and added those in. Personally, I like to keep mine nice and simple and just have that. But yeah, that's going to go in the airing cupboard dry. I will adjust the twine around it if I need to. I hope this has been helpful, useful. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you next time.